welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. But I don't have to tell you that, right? Because you have been seeing it all week. I have said many times something that I heard some time ago from way back. Sports are a microcosm of society, and you are seeing it play out in real time in just the last few days as it pertains to Caitlin Clark. I am certain that there are people who are thinking, I just want to go back to when we were like, when does the season start? Can't wait for 2025 WNBA. Can't wait to see Caitlin Clark hit a logo three. Can't wait to see one of those passes. Can't wait to see whether Kelsey Mitchell stays. The whole thing. And I just want to go back to when it was basketball. I'm going to tell you something. Too late. Because, well, the league has always been woke, has always had an agenda. The league and the sports media, the establishment sports media that is, and their surrogates, always. And they pride themselves on that. But since Caitlin Clark stepped into the waters with the Time magazine interview, it's almost like you're going to see more people, more comments, more demands. You're going to see it's going to be less and less about basketball, what you want to see. And it's going to be a whole lot of this stuff because it's like she ripped off another layer of the onion. And this one is a big one. And so now people feel like they can just go all in with it. And they will, barring a miracle, they're going to go all in a big way. And so it's important that we say, you know what? You want to go all in? You want to go in, people with a lot of nonsense? Then guess what? We're going to go in too. And we're going to expose the nonsense for what it is. A lot of times, like you, we're just like, we just want to let's just play basketball. But then when they start saying nonsense, like when the owner of a WNBA team, Sheila Johnson, Washington Mystics, when she says some of the stuff like she said that people are talking about today, it's like, okay, you want to play hardball? Then let's play. So I'm going to share her comments, and I'm going to stop along the way and dive in. This is what you want, Ms. Johnson. This is what the surrogates of the league, this is what y'all want. Then this is what you get. We're going to just reveal or expose or whatever you want to call it, exactly how foolish this nonsense is. Let's go. This is a CNN sports piece, and this is Sheila Johnson, who is speaking here about Time's decision to name Caitlin Clark Athlete of the Year, a decision that, to anybody paying attention, is a no-brainer, but not according to Sheila Johnson. All right, let's get started.
It has taken the WNBA almost 28 years to get to the point where we are now. And this year, something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark. It's Reese. We have so much talent out there.
Whenever someone has to name someone to say it's not that someone, chances are it's that someone. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying so hard to paint a different picture, or you wouldn't even have to say it.
It has been unrecognized. And I don't think we can
go
just
back
our complaint because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlin Clark. It's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized. And I don't think we can just pin it on one player.
There has been, this phrase has been couched, hasn't it? The Caitlin Clark effect. Why do you think that has been the case?
Well, I want to be very diplomatic about this. It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never.
Okay, first of all, name me one player who is equally as talented as Caitlin Clark, who's doing what Caitlin Clark does. Caitlin Clark surpassed them all in college, came into the WNBA, broke all kinds of records, shoots three-pointers beyond where NBA players shoot three-pointers, came in and was the first rookie to ever have a triple-double and did it twice, and became the assist leader, and as a rookie was in the MVP conversation. I mean, I have said for years, and I continue to say, there have always been great players in the WNBA. I know people want to say, no, there's not. Listen, I watched Cynthia Cooper Ball. I watched Tina Thompson. I watched Cheryl Swoops. I watched these players. Okay, there have always been some great players in the WNBA. But to bring in all that Caitlin Clark is bringing in and moving the needle as she is, this lady needs to stop.
I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said,
no, you're not hearing wrong. This woman just said it's time that they got the recognition they deserve. And so why couldn't Time magazine put all of the WNBA? Why? Because all of the WNBA doesn't deserve to be Athlete of the Year. That's why.
WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have.
Because all the talent wasn't to the point that it should be Athlete of the Year. And because the award is not for even just Basketball Player of the Year, it is about being the Athlete of the Year. And so, as Cheryl Swoops had the conversation when she was on Gil's Arena, it's the whole thing. It's not just, well, let's just give it to everybody because everybody plays basketball. We've got people in the WNBA who never got off the bench. Some of them may have deserved to get off the bench, but a lot of them didn't. You're going to tell me that they're Athlete of the Year? I'm shaking my head because, again, this is where you see society showing up in sports. And I'll say more.
Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that.
Excuse me. This is what we have in society. This is what I mean by snowflakes. This woman who has accomplished much. Now, I've seen some comments and people have some comments about how she accomplished what she accomplished, but I don't know about all that. So someone who obviously, to me anyway, from what I can tell about her, accomplished much. And I'm assuming she worked hard to do so. She just said, it creates hard feelings. This is what is a huge problem in our society. This is what some people go, why are you guys always talking about woke? Because this is what wokeness is. We don't want any hard feelings. So that means everybody gets a trophy. Johnny, Jerry, Shaniqua, Mary, Tobias, everybody gets a trophy because we don't want any hard feelings. We don't want people to have their feelings hurt. So it doesn't matter whether or not they deserve to be athlete of the year. Let's just bring everybody in a circle and put them on the cover. Why can't we do that? Because it creates this problem, and then then you've got racism. Wait. You telling me that racism is somehow manifested when the person who deserves the award gets the award and not everybody gets the award? That it just makes no sense. This is why we are where we are, where he's in the corner crying because she got this and he didn't get this and you got that. And meritocracy. There's something to be said for it. Not everybody is going to be athlete of the year. Not everybody is going to make the best cakes in the city. Not everybody is going to win the chili cook-off. Not everybody's going to shoot logo threes, and not everybody is going to be athlete of the year. And if their feelings are hurt, then you know what? You keep working at it, you keep striving for it, or maybe you realize that's just not my thing. I'll be the best at what I'm the best at. And maybe then I got to figure out why I am such a snowflake. It starts in the young age, which is one of the reasons some people have an issue with what Caitlin Clark said and what many people say about privilege, because you're telling these kids that, well, you got to make sure you do that for those people because they deserve that as well. You've got to work hard, and you want to have people understand that you got to work. I feel like Kobe Bryant. I remember the commercial where some kid and Kobe beat him in basketball, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, you beat the kid," and he's like, "You should work for everything you get." I still remember that commercial and hearing his voice say that. You should work for everything you get. But your reasoning is that they're gonna feel bad, and now you got talk about racism, and I don't want to hear about racism. Well, stop race baiting.
We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing.
So if everybody doesn't win athlete of the year, then nobody is getting respect except for one person? We've got to get stronger as a league. And by getting stronger, you're suggesting we water down the criteria, and that somehow makes everybody stronger. What are you saying?
And their talents.
You mentioned Time Magazine.
Yes.
And Caitlin Clark has made a point of using that moment to say we need to celebrate the Black players in the WNBA and what they have done, and credits them for being so much the foundation of the success of the league. How important is that? If it shouldn't have to be the case.
Yeah, she shouldn't have had to say that, but I applaud her for saying it. We cannot continue to operate because this division of racism is going to tear us apart.
But she's pushing it. And this is what she doesn't understand. This division of racism? From where? From whom?
Kathy Engelbert was criticized, wasn't she, for not being firmer in her condemnation of the racist abuse online suffered by the players. What was your reaction to how she dealt with that?
Well, I didn't want to think about it too much, but I think the players were right. She admitted that she made a mistake in the way she phrased it.
In the way, and this is another thing where you can't win. It's the way she phrased it. Yeah, she admitted because she was pressured into it, and she didn't phrase it just right, because it's got to be just so. Kind of reminds me of when Caitlin said, nobody should be using my name to push racism or anything back in June, but it wasn't good enough. Dejanay comes out with some kind of tweet, yo, it must be wonderful to not have the luxury, another word for privilege. At one point, when Caitlin made some comment, it wasn't good enough. So whatever, I remember when Kathy Engelbert said, they were talking about the rivalry and the whole issue with supposed race issues and all this stuff. And she's talking about how this was good for the league, etc. But it wasn't good enough, and they got offended. Their feelings were hurt, and we know that matters because she already told us it's about their feelings. So now Kathy, of course, has to go back to the drawing board. I'm not here trying to defend Kathy Engelbert because I think that she's got a whole lot of work to do, better work. However, the pressure that comes.
And I just think she could have been a little bit more diplomatic and understanding of what the landscape of what's happening out there. Because the WNBA is at an inflection point where we're starting to really go up. And I don't want us to lose that momentum.
Well, I'll tell you how you lose the momentum, Ms. Johnson. You lose the momentum by saying the one person who has done nothing but speak well of everyone, who is just playing basketball and happens to be good and bringing in revenue, bringing in eyeballs, advocating for other players to have more money and spot bonuses and all that, and then saying that she should not be get the spotlight for an award she deserves, but you don't want to lose the momentum. You're killing the momentum with your comments. You're killing the momentum by taking away what is not like fabricated shine, but real shine. How is it that they don't understand that? I'll tell you how. Because race is the biggest factor with certain people. It is. It's all about race. They idolize race. Caitlyn's the wrong color, and therefore they have a problem because why is she getting the shine when everybody should get the shine? Now notice something. This woman knows that she cannot pinpoint any other player, black, white, or otherwise, who deserved to be athlete of the year. So she can't say, well, shouldn't it be A'ja Wilson? Because as good of a player as A'ja Wilson is, she's not athlete of the year. Okay? And she couldn't say Diana Taurasi. She couldn't say Brittany Griner. So I'm naming black and white. She couldn't say anybody. So what does she do? She tries to make a case for everybody, which is an even worse case than naming any one of them.
What is happening now is perfect. But as I've also told many, many of our players, I said, this is just the canary in the coal mine. We have got to be careful because we're now entering into a new political climate. We do not want to draw attention to ourselves in a negative way.
Too late. Too late. You were already seen in a negative way when you were seen at all. And Caitlin Clark coming into the league brought more eyeballs, and we saw more nonsense. And now when you have an opportunity to ride the wave, you come out with nonsense like this. And now you want to tell the players to be careful? You're embarrassing the players. There are people, again, I don't spend a whole lot of time on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. It's gross. But I did, in pulling up this article, look through some of the comments, and black and white people are like, are you kidding me? And they're blasting this woman for her past, for what she has not done, according to them, for her black community, for the school she went to, etc. There are comments all like that. And people think what she's saying right now is bogus. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I understand that Lexi Brown had something to say too. Haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment too much. She's talking about the players being very careful, and she's out here talking absolute nonsense.
They have anybody use it as ammunition against us as athletes.
How do you do that? What are your players saying to you about what they want to see happen?
We all need to sit down, and I think our leadership with our commissioner, she needs to sit down and even bring a psychologist in. I don't know.
No, you ain't lying about that. I don't know if it's a psychologist you need or a pastor. Start laying hands on people and praying for them. I better clarify, not everybody's familiar with the term laying hands on, and they think I'm advocating violence. I am not at all. But we need to sit down. Here's something that I've said before with other black people. Ain't no need in sitting down, excuse my bad English, if you're not going to be real. And it's very difficult to get certain people to sit and talk and be real. Oh, this is our thing. We just keep this to ourselves. That's one of the reasons why certain people get mad at people who are Black content creators, not just myself, or Black writers, or whatever, podcasters. I've experienced it. It's like, why are you're this, you're that, you're Aunt Jemima, you're Uncle Tom, you're this or that. That's why? Because that's just supposed to be our thing. Nothing is going to change if people refuse to be real. And if you want to have everybody sit down with leadership, and you just want to have people talk about, well, we don't like the fact that the Black people haven't gotten the shine that they were supposed to get, and then the white girl comes into, are you going to find anybody in the group who's going to actually say, you know what? I'm jealous. I wish it was me. I wish I was better. Anybody going to be real? And then have other people who look at them and say, yeah, and you know what? We've allowed the jealousy and the cattiness to cause us to go after Caitlin Clark, to cause us to get on social media and dog her, in spite of Caitlin saying, oh, nobody came after me. I need to deal with that in another video, I'm sure. But who's going to be real? You want to sit down and bring a counselor in of some sort? Well, I think that the counselor should first talk to Mrs. Johnson, because she's still worried about people's feelings. And when I say that, I don't mean you try to hurt people, but I mean you're worried about, we got to give everybody an award, because if not, somebody's feelings are going to be hurt, and then we're going to have racism problems. It seems to me that she has an issue too, but it is indicative of the society in which we live. And you get to see it so much in sports. Sports and culture connect because sports draws attention. So it's on blast. But I don't know if it's ever been on blast like we see in this WNBA, which is at its root toxic. I hope and pray it changes. But I feel like this week, in the midst of a celebration of an award, it also opened up the door and caused some step back. Maybe it's good. Sometimes pulling that Band-Aid off and exposing it is an opportunity and a chance for some healing. We'll find out.
But talk to the players and how we resolve the issues that we're going through. Because not only what's going through with the WNBA, it's happening in society as well.
Exactly.
We're seeing it more and more. From the Karens that you see on social media.
Karens.
This has got to stop.
Then stop. Then you stop. This has got to stop. What's this? What is this that has to stop? Does anybody know? Put it in the comments. What is she talking about? The racism that they're saying Caitlin Clark and only Caitlin Clark's fans are exhibiting? Is it giving awards to people who deserve it that has to stop? Is it not propping up people who haven't achieved what it takes to be propped up? Is that what it is? What is this that has to stop?
Have a healthier America. And more than anything, I want to have a very healthy league.
Well, a league is only as healthy as the people who make it up. And that's just the truth. A league is not a thing. It's made of people. And you cannot have a healthy league or lead when you got your own issues. And clearly, there are issues that are bigger than Caitlin Clark, though they're trying to pin it on her in this league. And she should reject the responsibility that they're trying to put on her, which will never satisfy. Now, I want to go back to something here, because not Miss Johnson, but I want us to look at something here with the interviewer. So let me find it.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented.
The head and hottie, the head and hottie.
Never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night, we read Time magazine, where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have?
Watch your head. The nodding, the
Because
nodding.
just keep singling out one player, it
Watch your
creates
head.
hard feelings.
Nodding, the nodding,
But
the
now
nodding.
you're starting to hear stories of racism.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Why am I pointing out the nodding? This is the problem with the media. This woman has to know, I hope, that this woman is talking sheer nonsense, and yet she's nodding her head. Why couldn't we put everybody on the cover? Because then when you otherwise you're gonna have just gonna have bad feelings. Where are the people who are willing to say, this is what you're supposed to be doing as members of the media, sports media or otherwise? Ask the questions. Like, where was the person who said, well, Caitlin Clark, what exactly do you mean by privilege, that you earned everything but privilege? We don't even know how that all went, because all we did was get to read the words and then hear her say she loved the article. But where are the people who are gonna look at her the next time they interview her and say, hey, give us an example of that? This woman here just sat there nodding her head, nodding her head. You cannot be a media and be afraid to challenge the people in front of you. This is why there's a problem with trying to blast Christine Brennan, who's done nothing but advocate for this league and is woke as the day is long, from what I understand. And yet she's put on blast because she does her job and asks a tough question, which probably was just a setup. She was probably trying to help Dejanay out, had been hearing all the noise and wanted her to have an opportunity to address it. But now they come after her and they try to get her credentials removed. And Caitlin gets in the article and says that she thinks that the woman's, what she did was inappropriate. Someone who has a marketing degree, understands the public relations. You have a responsibility to ask certain questions. And so where's the woman who's going to ask Mr. Johnson a question? Like, you really think everybody in the league should be? Instead, she's sitting there nodding her head. Then you are complicit in the gaslighting. Sports are a microcosm of society, and we're seeing it there. The snowflake syndrome, the race baiting, and the absolute either delusion or just utter desire to fool everybody into thinking that you want what's best for everyone and that this is how you do it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the WNBA. It's interesting. They've got their work cut out for them if they want to make this a healthy league. What do you think? I think I'm done, at least for this video. But God willing, I'll be back with more. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.